Hello again, welcome back to Mr. O Science. Today we're going to talk about plant and animal cells for the AQA GCSE Biology course. This is the second in a series of videos following on from eukaryotes and prokaryotes. If you haven't watched that yet, you might want to review it before looking at this one. Here's what you need to know as far as the specification is concerned. So we're going to be going through what lots of the structures do, the ones found in an animal cell, the ones found only in plant cells, and some of the structures which we find within bacterial cells as well. Okay, so last time round we drew pictures of plant and animal cells, so I'm not going to do that again, but we are going to talk about the different organelles that you find and what their functions are. So for the first list I'm going to go through are going to be the ones which are only found in plants. So the ones which are specific to plants are you've got chloroplasts. Chloroplasts are the reason that plants look green. They're there so the plant's able to carry out photosynthesis. And to carry out photosynthesis, it's really important that they're able to take in light energy. So in order to do that, they've got this green pigment, which is called chlorophyll, which is contained within the chloroplasts. So the key function of chloroplasts is they carry out photosynthesis and they contain this substance chlorophyll to allow them to carry out photosynthesis. Okay, so the next component, which is only found within plant cells, is going to be a permanent vacuole. And a permanent vacuole contains cell sap. So that's a sugary solution within the plant cell, and it's able to, during osmosis, take in water or lose water into the cytoplasm again to help regulate the water potential of the cell. So the permanent vacuole is going to contain cell sap, and that's its main function. What you also find only in plant cells is a cell wall made of a substance called cellulose. The purpose of the cell wall is plant cells aren't able to move around to control their environment, so they're potentially exposed to either more dilute or more concentrated solutions, which is going to affect osmosis within the cells. So the cell wall is able to prevent the cell from being damaged in different solutions. So it stops it from either bursting or losing its structure when it's placed in pure water or a very concentrated solution. Okay, so those are the parts that you only find within plant cells. Now moving on to animal cells. All of the things that you find in an animal cell, you'll also find in a plant cell as well. So the first ones I went through the differences, but these ones are the list of similarities and shared structures. The first one of these is a nucleus, which is going to contain DNA, and it controls the function of the cell. And if you remember from last video, we looked at the nucleus as a key feature of eukaryotes. So both plants and animal cells are eukaryotic cells. As well as the nucleus, they both have cytoplasm, and that's going to be where chemical reactions take place. All the chemical reactions in a cell are known as metabolism. So things like respiration, some of it will happen in the cytoplasm, anaerobic respiration. Others of it will happen in our next organelle, which is the mitochondria. The mitochondria are where aerobic respiration takes place. So this is where you've got glucose coming in, you've got oxygen coming in, and it's where the vast majority of energy is produced by most cells. You also have a cell membrane as the outermost layer of the animal cell. In the plant cell, it's also around the outside, but you've got a cell wall around it too. And the membrane's function is it controls entry and exit from the cell. So it's like the bouncer on a door. It controls what substances can come in and what substances come out. And finally, we've got ribosomes, which are shared by both of these types of cells. And ribosomes are very important because they're little protein factories. So they carry out the process of protein synthesis. And that's absolutely vital for a cell because proteins often make up enzymes, and enzymes control all of the chemical reactions. So it's vital to have those ribosomes working for the cell to carry out its function. And just finally, there's a couple of structures which you only find in prokaryotic cells, so things like bacteria. So the differences are, in prokaryotes you get no nucleus, because that's only found in eukaryotic cells. What you get instead is you get plasmids and a DNA loop to contain the genetic material. Plasmids are really useful because they're short sequences of DNA which just contain 1 or 2 genes, and they can be swapped by bacteria to share things like antibiotic resistance, so they're vital for their survival. And another difference is the cell wall in bacteria and prokaryotes is not made out of cellulose. So they still have one, but it's made from a slightly different substance. Okay, so that's a little bit of an overview about the different types of plant and animal cells. As always with these things, some of these are a little bit of a generalisation, so you get specialised cells which vary a little bit, but those are the characteristic features. In my next video, we're going to look at some of these specialised cells and talk about how they're adapted for their function. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.